This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
Hello, everybody, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on when you are listening to this. Welcome to another episode of Business Accelerator with myself, Adam Strong. And today we're talking a little bit about how to deal with adversity. It's interesting because actually, before we get into this, if you're listening to me live, do me a favor, use the hashtag live, use the hashtag replay, do that on the comment section below. And if you are listening to me live, okay, please do me a favor, PLC, post, like, or comment on the comment section below, or you can reshare this video whenever you like. So really good to see some great people here live as well with me. If you guys are listening in on the podcast, we're going to put all the show notes below and any links that you need as well for today's show. So let's get straight into today's episode, which is all about how to deal with adversity. And, you know, it's interesting because we've had quite a lot of people recently that I've had engagements with and things like that. I just want to give a big shout out. Good morning, Sarah. How are you? Hope you're well. It's interesting how I've had so many conversations over the last couple of weeks about people that are going huge amounts of adversity. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of talk right now about a so-called recession, whatever that looks like. And so what a lot of companies, a lot of business owners think is like, guess what? I'm going to pull the plug on marketing, or I'm going to reduce the budget here on coaching, or whatever it is. Good morning to Julie as well. Great to see you ladies here. I was actually having. I'm here in London actually, and I was actually speaking to a restaurant owner last night, and it was an Indian restaurant, and he was talking to me about the fact that, you know, the energy crisis, and about the fact that he's not sure about, you know, what his restaurant's going to look like and if they're going to be able to make it through the winter. And I'm like, well, listen, at the end of the day, and I said to him, I was like, if you have the belief that no one's got money, right? If you have the belief that no one can afford what you do, then guess what? You are going to continue to struggle there. But the thing is that his restaurant, which is based in the Wimbledon area, where the average house price is £850,000, okay? It's not a matter of people have money, right? People have money. And it's like, you know, it's just a matter of how do you get them to spend the money, right? How do you get their attention, right? What is it that you're going to do for them, type of thing. So I had it was just a really interesting conversation that I had with the restaurant owner yesterday. Anyway, I digress. Hey, good morning to you, Chandra. It's great to see you here as well. Hashtag live. Thanks very much, guys. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to give you 5 tips about how to deal with adversity. And I'm also going to do a second show about this on another day and do sort of a second helping of this, because I think this is really, really important. So the first thing in terms of dealing with adversity and how I deal with it, I'm going to talk about it from my personal experience as well. So the first thing that I do in terms of adversity, and this is something that you could practice or preach or whatever it is, first thing is to step back and reflect, right? We all go through shit in our life, right? We all go through times which generally can be very, very tough for people, right? You can either be one of two things. You can be a dweller and start to think about all of the negativity and all the things that how crap you are and how bad you are and stuff like that. Or what you can do is you can kind of think to yourself, well, hang on a second, let's step back here and let's look at all the things in our life that we're, number one, grateful for, but things that are working for us, right? As a business owner and entrepreneur, right? And I'm going to tell you from personal experience here, okay? Is that I'm extremely tough on myself, right? If things aren't going my way, right, I'm going to start beating myself up. And some of you guys that are listening in right now, you might feel the same. Okay, but we deal with adversity in different ways. Okay, and you know, it's so important, right? And the second part of this, actually, and this is the second part of this, is being able to control not only your emotions, but your inner critic. Because the inner critic are going to start nagging at you, right? At the back of your head, and inner critic's going to be like, hey, I told you so. I told you that you weren't good enough for this. I told you that but then you've got to be armed with some great questions and say, well, yeah, just because I got knocked down doesn't mean I'm going to be knocked down forever. Just because I've been knocked down just because I took this route to market doesn't necessarily mean I'm a failure, right? So it's kind of like perspective. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like perspective. And thanks very much, Sarah. I really appreciate your comment. And, it's all about perspective. So important about perspective. So that's the first thing. Secondly, seek opportunity. So important, because if we dwell and we think about all of the shit stuff that's going on in our life right now, and being all negative, that's where opportunity, it passes by us, because we become very tunnel visioned into the present time, right? And sometimes when I speak to a lot of business owners and leaders that are going through these tough times, all it takes is a little bit of fine tuning. All it takes is maybe a different perspective. Maybe it just takes a slightly different direction in terms of like what you're doing. All it could be is just a little bit of fine tuning. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it could be about, right? So that's the second part, which is seek opportunity. The third thing, which I think is extremely important and so highly underestimated, is to lean into people that care about you. So I have a big heart. I give everything to my clients. Like literally, I try to give everything to my clients. I keep communication clear. And, I think it's important, right? In order for having a symbiotic, a good relationship with people that care about you, is that you have to have this transparency, right? You have to have transparency. You have to show vulnerability. And in fact, I've probably become more and more vulnerable over the last couple of weeks, more than anything else, I would say, purely because of just experience, right? And perspective. And I'm hoping that people are going to be able to learn from not only my lessons, but your own life lessons as well. I feel like that's extremely important. But lean into people that care about you, right? The fourth one, which I think is so highly underestimated, which is to focus on happy hormones, right? How do we get more happy hormones in life, right? We laugh, okay? We exercise, okay? We surround ourselves with people that uplift us, okay? Because those happy hormones, dopamine, endorphins, all of those types of happy hormones that are going to help us lift our mood more than anything else, because no one wants to hang around with a miserable, moody, negative person, right? Okay? People are seeking you as a potential role model, okay? So I want you to really think about that, right? What are the things that's going to increase your mood and your energy, okay? And I'm a big thing into energy, right? So, if it's like going out to a comedy club, if it is, for example, I don't know, doing something that is going to make you either laugh, that is going to make you feel good about yourself, or whatever it might be. And it, like for me, I love to go out for a run 2-3 times a week, right? That's a great way to deal with stress as well. So that is kind of like my way that you doing kind of physical exercise or whatever it might be. For you guys, it might be anything, right? It could be absolutely anything. It could be just to go socialize with a few girlies or a few guys or whatever it is, whatever your crowd is, okay? That's also going to help you to overcome the adversity, right? So that's my fourth tip. Now, my last tip before we kind of like wrap up today is refuse to give in, okay? Because for me, what's important, right? Refusing to give in means that, you're not going to throw the towel in, okay? You're not going to listen to the inner critic. You're not going to you're not going to lean into negativity, whatever that is, like the media, your partner, whatever it is, okay? Surround yourself with who you become. So super important. But refuse to throw the towel in. And again, if you're going through those times of adversity, okay, it's easy to just throw the towel in, okay? The reality is that I had a great call with a guy yesterday. I'm sure it was the day before actually. And his background is that he was in law, so he was a practicing lawyer, but he was also a management consultant, originally from the States, living in Ireland. And he talked to me a little bit about a dilemma that he was in, and he was offered a great contract or an opportunity, right? And he said to me, he was like, but the thing is, if I take that full-time job, right, okay, that full-time contract, where does that leave me in terms of my flexibility, in terms of like my hobbies? Because actually I'm really enjoying running my own business. Things are really beginning to click and fall into place. And I said to him, you've got to get clear on the long-term game. You could either do one of two ways. You could either go and get a job, right? Okay, take the easy route, okay? But is that going to lead to a life of happiness and purpose? Okay, that's the first question you have to ask yourself. And the second question is, if you go down the other route, okay, what is the long-term, short-term win strategies or whatever it is, right? It's about weighing up the consequences with the kind of pros and cons, right? I couldn't answer that question for him. All I did was give him direction. That's all I did. Give him some direction and ask very specific questions to his subconscious mind. And he was extremely thankful for our conversation. We're going to stay in touch. We'll touch base in a few months and see where he's at and things like that. It's so interesting how this gentleman, he had such lack of clarity, which really put him in this dilemma and stuff like that. So listen, I wanted to kind of pour into today because today's coming from the heart, as it always does, but even more, because I think it's one of those interesting subjects right now. And there's never an easy route to success, as Sarah would say. 100%, I absolutely agree. If running a business, right, and being an entrepreneur and being a business leader was easy, okay, everyone would do it. That's the reality, okay? So I hope you enjoyed today, by the way. And again, if you're listening to me live, use the hashtag live. If you're listening to the replay, use the hashtag replay. You'll be able to listen to this on the podcast a little bit later on for you guys that are listening in. Do check out the show description notes as well. And also, please, please, please do me a favor. Check out our Telegram group. There is a link, actually, which we'll put up here very, very shortly. In fact, there it is. There's the Telegram group. Do join the Telegram group. We're going to be planning some amazing things right now, which I think is really going to help propel and help excel and stuff like that. Listen, have a great day, week, month, whenever you're listening to this. Have a fantastic one. Take care. We'll see you soon. Cheers now. Bye-bye.